Fantastic. I kept stretching my neck to see if that was a live flute, because I couldn't see, and then lo and behold, they just put that together this morning. I mean, David was in L.A. with the children's choir all the weekend. I think you just got in last night, right? So they rushed together, and I couldn't get here in time to direct them. So they went on and did it without me. Great work. Thank you for coming on this Father's Day. We welcome every one of you, name by name, person by person, individual by individual, always. It's always a joy to come, and this service is growing. And we kind of thought that the church was already contemporary, and it is overall. But the place was packed out, everywhere. So we went to the 3 different models, and we like it. It's going very, very nicely. And when we get downtown, of course, we'll all be together more. And it's good that we, from time to time, as a church within the year, come together so that we don't become a segregated church while trying to be integrated at the same time. So we integrate, and that's why, like Dorothea said, she comes to the traditional service. Sometimes you should go over to the point, and it's a short service, right? Very right to the point. They get in and out in about an hour. It's 45 minutes. 45 minutes. That's the way it is when you ain't worshiping. See, it's a service where people love to congregate. They love to, enjoy their own spirituality without all the religious dogma or disciplines or doctrines. It's not necessary for some people. And I think that's powerful that we make that opportunity available to people in this all souls community that we live, truly the beloved community. We're looking forward to a larger Hispanic expression that would be bilingual, but that would emphasize Spanish. And so that there are many people in the Tulsa area who like the basic philosophy of all souls. And we just have a great vision for growing and expanding and reaching a lot of people that we wouldn't normally reach. It is Father's Day, and our theme for the month is the gift of doubt. So I'll get to that in just a minute. I will say that fatherhood has been probably the deepest and most challenging emotion in my life. I've been a father now 23 years next month, because Julian, my oldest, turns 23. And there's a devotion to fathering or parenting that is not the same as it is when you're ministering. I'd ministered for 40 years. Well, I'd been in the ministry most of my life, and when I decided at 40 to get married and have children, I kept my devotion in ministry, and then I created a new kind of emotion for the parental loving marital part, and that's a whole different challenge. And as a father, I salute fathers. My dad always said to me, "You'll know how much I love you, son, when you have your own." And he said that for years. And my dad was a very, very loving and affectionate man. He was the eldest of the 7 children that his parents had, and he cared for them. His parents were gone a lot, so Daddy was a natural nurturer. He was affectionate. He cared about his kids. He used to say that he could never fully sleep until he knew all his kids were in the house. Of course, the way I heard him snoring, I don't know whether that's true or not, because he would go dead out sleep. I used to be quite a deep sleeper, but now I am. When I had kids, I sleep very lightly. I hear everything. I hear the door when it comes open, or somebody knocking, or a window, or a car drive. I just sleep very light. There's a different sense of a concern for your children that only fathers have, differently than mothers. Mothers have a certain nurturing, incubating love, and all the things that the mother does. But fathers have a role to play, and I know many of you are thinking sometimes dads are a little less quiet, a little less verbal. They don't express emotion. They tend to rely on what the caregiver, though they are the caretaker. Usually the mother is the caregiver, and she kind of makes things different. He just kind of fills in the gaps. And sometimes a baby is taken from a father when he's a father for the first time. And the mother-in-law is there, and the grandmother's there, and they take the baby away, and they don't let the daddy hold him very much. And if he does, the whole time he's holding the child, they're giving him instructions of how to hold him, how to hold the bottle, don't do it that, put it on that way, leave it. And then sometimes the dad just gives the little child away and says, forget it. But I remember saying when my wife started that stuff, and all the ladies that were around said, "Oh, whoa, don't give me the kid. I don't care if I put the diaper on his head. It's where if I put it upside down, I'm gonna put it on. Y'all can change it, but don't take my kid out of my life." And I refused that because I remember that so many men get hurt and quiet, and they go into long before we had cave, what do we call man caves? We had mad caves. We was mad. Didn't feel welcome at the home, so we celebrate all the fathers who have navigated and negotiated what it means to be a father and to know where and how to be patriarchal and some part maternal. Fill in the gaps. Daddy could cook. I love to cook. My dad was a cook in the Army, and we didn't know he cooked until on Saturdays he'd make us, we loved him making us French toast. And once in a while he'd be in charge of the cleaning, and we'd have to pull out everything under the cupboards and the closets and just go around. And my daddy was a neat freak, so we didn't like it when he took over for cleaning every once in a while. But we appreciated it, and I deeply, that my father's my number one example of fatherhood. And I thought he was a perfect father. And so I have emulated him in so many ways. And I've called many times talking about my wife and my mother are similar. And so I call my daddy for counseling and therapy and medication and meditation and drugs if he had any. No, he didn't have any drugs. But my dad was there. He was there every time my children were born. In the birthing suite, he met me at the plane the night Julian was born. And he came up to the hospital. Sorry, I didn't expect that at all. Let's talk about the gift and guilt of doubt. I threw in the word guilt because there's a certain regret and a certain sense of criminality around doubt. In a minute, my older sister's going to sing, so I'm going to abbreviate this a little bit. She's all the way in from Branson. This is the first time she's been home since Daddy left. Dr. Wolf wrote a masterful book. I don't know how many of you have read it. He gave it to me personally when I first visited him, and I've read it. And he is basically preparing for his transition. He's 92 and is in hospice care, and we probably won't have him much longer. He knows that. So I'm going a little more frequently if I can and just chat a lot about this book. And last week he said, I'm coming into a new enlightenment about what I anticipate, if anything, after I finish this life. And he made the comment, I thought it was humorous, that people think that Dr. Wolf, some of his colleagues said, he's an atheist. He said, of course I'm not an atheist. Who do you think I've been arguing with all these years? His life and ministry has been a great argument, and that probably is the case with all of us. We have lots of questions and lots of doubts. What do we really know? Most people believe what they doubt and doubt what they believe. And that's the sort of mental crux of human existence. What do you really know? A lot of people believe what they know, but they don't really know what they believe. And we doubt those beliefs and believe in those doubts. And we double back and forth. The two Obama elections, I was thinking about in some of the stuff in the news lately, Republicans were surprised and confused that they lost. And in this recent election, they are surprised and confused that they won. And so is the country. We were all stunned with the Obama election and surprised, and of course you could understand that African Americans were elated, and then he won by a landslide each time. And then this last time, Hillary actually won the public vote by 3 million. It would have been that would have been a landslide, but because of the electoral colleges, Donald Trump won. And there's been great speculation about that. And next week I'll talk about the gift of doubt and suspicion about government, about leadership, about authority, whether it's a judge or a police officer or a school teacher or a priest or preacher. We've lost a lot of our trust culturally in old standard pillars that for the first time in American history, we doubt a lot, and we feel a certain measure of guilt because we sang and said the Pledge of Allegiance and sang the Star Spangled Banner and God Bless America with such pride. I did it as an elementary school student. We had such pride for that, and we'd have a civil defense thing, and all of the kids would get a bell in the schools back in the 50s because we're remembering World War II, and we get under the desk and the flag and Mrs. Collins playing the song God Bless America. God bless, and she had a little bump to it. And I walked up to her one day and said, you play piano like my mama and them. And you ain't black, you know. And that was right. Well, that just before they killed Martin Luther King. So I've had a lot of, even this morning, I kind of woke up with fits of dumb. I forgot my glasses, and I ran off. I couldn't remember where my wallet was, and we rushed and got here just in time. So many things are, and if you really pause and look at your own life, you're dodging and navigating and negotiating and figuring in and figuring out and dancing around and trying to find out who you are today and what counts and why it counts and where you figure into the count. There's been more question and speculation. So I think this whole idea of the gift of doubt rather than the guilt of doubt is very important. Albert Einstein said, the greater the doubt, the greater the awakening. Wow. The greater the doubt. I started having questions early on in life, well, midlife, and people thought when I went through into the whole inclusion thing, I had a midlife crisis. Maybe it was. I came to a critical moment in my thinking, in my values, and in my being honest with myself and giving myself freedom and permission to ask questions, answer questions, and then question my answers. The big part of that is questioning my answers. I had planned, regular, parroted answers to all the questions. I remember one time when I was witnessing, called myself witnessing in high school. As a student body president, I had a Bible study every once a week in my office, and people like me. I carried the Bible to school and very, very hyped, a fundamentalist Christian. And I remember I was witnessing to a bunch of kids, and one young man yelled out to me, well, if Jesus is the answer, then what is the question? And I went, the question is, why don't you accept him as your Savior? He caught me off guard. I threw that out there. I didn't like the answer and I didn't like the question, but I was more interested in the question than the answer. And I thought, what is the big question mark? If Jesus, I would flippantly say, just turn to Jesus. Jesus is the answer. Jesus will fix it. And all the people I knew were Jesus followers with unfixed lives. They were fixed on Jesus and fixed on religion and fixed on church and fixed on scripture and still broke and broken. So we were survivalists, but I found the same mentality in other religions or other disciplines. People go for the placebo, and I'll one day give you a whole series on placebos, and they do work. Doctors have told me personally that you're convinced that something works, it works. When we over here would pray or use medicine, I've been to foreign countries and I've gone into the cultures and heard them talk, and I met with medicine men and what you would call soothsayers or warlocks or what you would call witchcraft. I found that hundreds of years the same practices have been done by these people with results, similar results to our results. Not 100%, maybe not even 50 or 25%, but enough to keep going, because life is a sort of a gamble anyway. Talk to me, somebody. It's called casinos. Casa is the Latin word for house. A casino is a house of gambling. Church is sometimes a house of guessing. This is casa too. We guess, we grope, we ask, we seek, we guess and quest for answers. Jesus is quoted to have said, and it's one of our most fascinating scriptures, ask and it will be given to you. Seek and you will find. Knock and the door will be open to you. Jesus is quoted to have said that in scripture, but the Greek tense of the word ask is ask and keep on asking. And you'll get it. Seek and keep on seeking. And you'll find it. Knock as a practice. Keep on knocking until the door is open. Now, we do that anyway. We do that naturally. We do that innately, not always religiously. We think, we want. One of the most popular scriptures, again, in the Old Testament is, the Lord is my shepherd, I shall not want. Who do you know that doesn't want? But we quote it randomly. The Lord is my shepherd, and it really means I shall not lack or need or query or question. I shall not be denied. I will not be denied. That's a declaration. Not always experienced, but experimented. We experiment with the possibility of prayers being answered, goals being achieved, obligations being met. Every single day, we doubt what we believe and believe what we doubt. That's part of our lives. All we're saying now is lose the guilt you have around doubting. Don't punish yourself from doubting. Necessity, you've heard, is the mother of invention. That really means that when the need for something becomes imperative or crucial, you are forced to find ways of getting it done or achieving it. The primary driving force for most new inventions or discoveries is need, or want, or lack, or can't, or don't, even doubt. Those words, when somebody tells me no, it stimulates me a little anger, a little guilt, a little passion, a little daring, a little Don't say no to me and expect me to accept it as anything but fuel in my engine. You feel like it's almost an offense, so we keep going. To live, Viktor Frankl said, and I love this statement, to live is to suffer. He was a Holocaust survivor. A psychiatrist, lived into his 90s, died in Germany. To live is to suffer, to survive is to find meaning or essence or significance in the suffering, in the pain, in the pathos. What does this pain mean? Why am I hurting? Even love is a sensual, not just the erotic love, but the agape and the phileo, the friendly love, the friendship. It's a pain when you can't give your mother something, or your sisters, or your children, or your wife or husband. It's a pain when somebody you really feel committed to, you can't fill a need in their life. You believe you can, but you doubt it. Right now, I've told you, I'm going through this whole concept of what I know in my soul, which I've ignored for many years. I know in my soul that things are different than I have believed. I know I'm okay, but I don't believe it. I know you're okay, but I doubt that too. I know the world's getting better, but my mind says otherwise. What you know is your spirit's truth. It's what your soul and your cells have experienced, either in this world or in some pre-incarnate reality out of which you came to this world. You came here knowing, but we forget between the womb and the tomb, and we start believing. And so the conflict you carry in your life, every single minute of your life, is what you know and what you believe. And usually they don't agree. You believe what somebody told you or taught you. You know what your soul. That's what makes me very interested in my soul, which I believe is the syllabus of my life. The soul carries the syllabus. It's the life course and life cause. It's the reason I've come here. So when I go into meditation, I'm just looking into my soul. The Greek word is psyche. Psyche, psychology, the logic of what I think and how I think and why I think it. In the Old Testament Hebrew, it's the word nephesh, which means the animal sentient, the sensual part of your animation, your human aspect. But when you really get into your own psychology, the logic and logistics of how you think, because what you think about, you bring about. Talk to me, somebody. So what are you thinking? To live is to suffer. To survive is to find significance. What's the sign? Significance. What's the assignment? What's the sign or the signature or signal? What is the sign of the pain? I don't say, why am I hurting? I say, where did the pain originate? Scripture talks about laying the axe to the root. Where there's fruit, there's root. Don't just study the fruit. We got to trace to where the root of this pain is. What do we as a species really know? That means, what do you really recognize or identify? Most people can tell you what they believe, but few really know with absolute certainty what they believe or what they know. What do you believe about you? I often ask you. Why do you believe that about you? And out of those beliefs, most of us wrestle with self-doubt. All of my life, I have believed in Carlton Pearson. And all of my life, I have doubted his essence. All of my life, I have known that I would be, quote unquote, successful at achieving whatever the goal was. Originally, I wanted to go into medicine, psychology, philosophy. I wanted to be a doctor, maybe a lawyer, but I was more interested in a doctor. I love touching and helping, healing people. And I'm still in that same mindset, but I always knew from the beginning I was going somewhere. Didn't know where I was going, but I knew I was going to get there. How many of you think you know where you're going? Most of you don't even know where you are. That's why them hands ain't going up. What's next with all this? I'm trying to get somewhere. You know, what you believe or what you know is for certainty. You might say, I know what I feel. I'm hungry. I feel tired. I'm lonely. I'm happy. I'm angry. I'm poor or rich. I'm full. I'm eager. I'm anxious. I'm interested. I'm concerned. I'm curious. I'm not interested. I'm not concerned. I'm cold. I'm hot. I'm restless. I'm very comfortable. Those are feelings. That doesn't define who you are. That describes what you feel. As you've heard me say, the universe doesn't judge you so much by what you feel, but by what you think about what you feel. Now, if you're cold, you say, I'm cold, I feel cold, and I doubt that I'm really cold. I just feel cold. The word doubt means to double. One is spelled D-O-U-B-T. The other one is D-O-U-B-L-E. A doubter is a person that doubles back and forth. The scripture says a double-minded, daisuke in Greek, two-minded. A double-minded person is unstable in all his or her ways. They have no stability. She loves me not. She loves me not. He loves me not. I love me not. You go through this, you're doubling back and forth constantly. Many of us go through that millions of times in a single day, seemingly. Everything you think you can do, you doubt whether you will. You've heard me say sometimes, you've hired these folks many times, there are things every day that you just have to do. There are things that you really need to do. There are things that you're supposed to do. There are things that you want to do, and there are things that you get to do. Not always in that order. What do you just have to do every day? What do you really need to do every single day? And what are you supposed to do today? And then what do you want to do? And then in the process, what do you get to do? Every day, those 5 to-dos are there. And sometimes at the end of the day, I think, what did I do? What did I really want to do? I didn't even think about what I wanted to do. I was busy thinking about what I had to do because I wanted to do what I have to do first. And there's a certain sense of pleasure in doing what you have to do, and then there's a certain sense of pleasure in doing what you want to do. But most of us like the pleasure of getting done what we have to do. Some of you never care what you have to do. You only do what you want to do, and you don't get nothing done but what you want to do. Some days I give myself a rest, and I don't care what I do. I just do it. And then other days I'm very focused. Some days I'm procrastinative. But constantly, there's the gift of doubt that inspires my faith and makes me want to do more. And it's, I'd say the 23rd Psalm is very popular. But the Lord is my shepherd. Most New Testament modern Christians believe that the Lord is Jesus, but that's not who David would have been referring to. He would have been referring to God when he wrote that passage. God is my shepherd, or destiny, or source, or fate is my shepherd. I feel like I'm being guided, he's saying, by something. And that guidance will not allow me to miss the mark. I will not be denied. I will not lack. I'm following a higher purpose, a higher source, a higher spirit, a higher power, and I'm motivated by that power. And most of us can look back on our lives and we know certain things occurred in a kind of a syncretic way, a synchronistic way that we couldn't have ordained. How many of you would say there's been experiences when in your life that you remember when things really happen in a very unique way? You might use the word divine, or that God did it, or that the Lord did it, or Jesus did it, or some of you who are atheists say the God I don't believe in did it. Or agnostic. In the Greek New Testament, when Paul says, I notice you have a stone to the unknown God. That word is agnostos, where we get the word agnostic. Gnosis is the Greek word for know. There's diagnosis, prognosis, ignosis, which means ignorance. But remember, ignorance doesn't just mean not to know. It means not to notice, or not to make note of, or not to take note of. It's right there. Some people call it the elephant in the room. One of the things that you sometimes don't notice, but it's there. You know you're okay. Do I? Well, I don't believe I ain't okay. Then what are you looking for? You won't even pursue okay if you don't know it's possible. Or you haven't at one time experienced it and forgot it. Turn to somebody and say, you know you're all right. You whispered that because you ain't sure you all right. Say it this way. Say, I know I'm okay. Say that. Okay. And I know you're okay. And I'm here to remind you that you're okay. And please remind me that I'm okay, because I forget it too often. I know I'm okay, but I doubt it. I know I'm debt free, but I doubt it. I know I'm healed and whole, but I doubt it. I know I'm happy, but I'm not sure it. I don't believe it. But I know it because I think I am it, or I was it, or I did it. But there's this other thing, but when I start doubting it, I want to do it more readily. When I begin to doubt it, it makes me want to pursue it more. It gives me ambition. To know means to be aware of through experience, through observation, through inquiry, through information, and I say really through transformation. When you're transformed in your consciousness, you live by what you know and less by what you believe, because what you believe can mess you up. What you know is permanent. Practice makes perfect, but it also makes permanent. If you practice doubt and practice low self-esteem and practice fear of the gods or of God and practice lack, it becomes permanent in your consciousness until you are transformed. Me talking to you doesn't change you. It might make you think. But when you decide that you want to transform who you are, transmute, transfer, transit, transcend. When you know that you want to make a transfer, you do it. Talk to me, somebody, again. I say talk to me because when you agree, the universe honors that, and you're putting it out there, it becomes part of your vibration, part of the frequency to which you are tuned. Frequency is what you think about most frequently. That is the frequency to which you are in tuned and attuned. You're tuned in with it, and you hear it constantly, and it's going around in your mind. James 1:6, James is considered a half-brother of Jesus. But when you ask, that means human quest. A quest is a long, arduous search for something. But when you ask, when you inquest or request or quest or question or conquest, we're all on a quest. We're all on a journey. We're all searching for something, and what you want wants you. You're really searching for you. You're searching for the best experience of yourself. Not your mom and them, your daddy and them, your lover and them, your children, your children. Not your boss, not your employees. You want to experience your best self. I say repeatedly, when you say you love somebody, you're saying you love the part of yourself that you experience when you're with that person. When you say you don't love or don't like somebody, you're saying I don't like how I experience myself when I'm around you. So the only person you'll ever love, like or not like is you. What you want is you, because what you want wants you, because what you want is you. So James says, when you ask, you must believe and not doubt. Not double back. Not D-O-U-B-L-E or D-O-U-B-T. Because the one who doubts is like a wave of the sea blown and tossed by the wind, a double-minded person. Doubt is it's actually from an old French word that means to be dubious. Douter, to be dubious or to hesitate. It means to pause before believing, or to pause before receiving, or to pause before doing something, a certain element of uncertainty. I've never done anything in my life worth doing that I didn't do it by faith with doubt. Talk to me, somebody. Because I didn't believe it, I made it happen. My doubt has become my friend. That's why I call them fraternal twins. They're not identical twins. They might look a little bit like each other, but they're not identical. Doubt and faith walk together, and I'm insisting that they remain close friends and that they work out of synchronicity and that they find the vibrations because they're both present in me. I refuse to allow them to be enemies in me. How many of you had a doubt just today? Or you doubt what time I'm going to get through? You doubt if I'm going to get through? You're not a true Unitarian until you doubt when the preacher's going to get through. There's a certain reluctance. I'm rushing through this. Why would we call doubt a gift when most people consider it a curse and feel guilt about it? Because the scripture does say without faith it's impossible to please God. He that comes to God must first believe that he is. Not only that he is, but that he's a rewarder of them who diligently seek or doubt. Seek. Well, if you're seeking, that means you're doubting. Or you wouldn't be seeking because you know you got it. Excuse me? If you're looking for it, that means you don't believe you have it. If you're seeking God, you doubt that God is now, or you're searching, you're looking, so it's okay to doubt. Turn to somebody, it's okay to doubt. It makes you dig. It makes you go for something. Doubt is a feeling of uncertainty, a lack of conviction, or lack of being fully convinced. The word conviction means to be convinced. Vincere, victory. Whatever you believe has victory over you. You are convicted or convinced of something. Faith is the Greek word is pistis, and it means firm persuasion based on the conviction of what you've heard, not just with your outer ear, but with your inner ear. Your inner voice and the inner volume of the voice. All of us are basically tuned to the same radio station. It's just that the volume is up. All the songs are need and lack and good and bad and high and low and you're okay and you're not. Country music, blues, gospel is a mixture of all of it. Rhythm and blues, rock. What's some of the other ones? Classical, jazz. They all have stimulants in them. Excuse me? You like the music was a little bit subdued today? Get your song. Mom, I had my sister sing that one song. I got 10 more minutes. Normally we try to get out when we get through. So no later than 1. We're going to get it down to an hour one of these days. I doubt that, but I know we can do it. I know it, but I don't believe it. I don't believe it at all. Because these are interesting. Doubt is invariably the result of want or weakness of faith, so says Mahatma Gandhi. Finally, Newton's third law is for every action, there is an equal and opposite reaction. Faith is a reaction or response to doubt. Faith is also one of the 9 spiritual gifts recorded in the scriptures in the New Testament. Faith is impossible and unnecessary without doubt. Doubt supports, sponsors, literally summons faith, and therefore can be considered a gift. Turn to somebody and say, you have the gift of faith, and you have the gift of doubt. You're pregnant with fraternal twins. Carry them well.
This is a song for people who have had to climb some mountains. I've got so much to Thank God for so many wonderful blessings and so many open doors, a brand new mercy along with each new day. And that's why I praise you. And for this I give you praise. For waking me up this morning, sending me on my way, letting me see the sunshine of a brand new day, brand new mercies along with each new day. That's why I praise you, and for this I give you praise. You're Jehovah Jireh. You've been my provider. So many times you've met my needs, and so many times you rescued me. I want to thank you for your blessings you give to me each day. That's why I praise you. For this I give you praise. Ooh, hallelujah, Jesus.
Hey, we're so happy you're visiting with us online today. We love connecting with people all across the country and around the world, sharing our powerful message of love beyond belief.
There's something new happening here. You can now join All Souls as a virtual member. Our virtual membership is designed for friends who live outside of Tulsa, Oklahoma, and who want to engage with All Souls in a meaningful way.
You can be part of an expanding family, a global family really, wherever you are. If you live in Oklahoma,
Ohio,
or Orange County, California,
Canada,
or Cameroon. By becoming a virtual member, you'll be able to deepen your connections with members and friends here in Tulsa and with members wherever you are.
Each week, you'll receive special All Souls content tailored for you, our virtual members. Virtual members have access to pastoral care, to personal prayers, and also receive invitations to exclusive web events.
You can learn more, and if you're ready, you can become a virtual member today by visiting allsoulschurch.org/virtual membership.
We're grateful our ministries are having a positive impact on your life, and we want to share the good news of love beyond belief with more and more people. So no matter what, we need your support to keep this ministry growing and thriving, so please consider making a gift today. You can do so by texting
LOVEBB for Love Beyond Belief to 73256, or simply visit our website. You are a blessing in our lives. May you be blessed
and be a blessing.